Well, hello and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our introduction here. It was to get across to you places that we've gone and places that we like to go to. And those are some of the focuses of our new channel here. We started Doggone Rv'N Travels with my girls back in August of 2018, shortly after I bought my 2008 Pleasureway Ascent Campervan. I did lots of research before I bought it because I knew exactly what I wanted, exactly what the floor plan had to be, and what I was going to use it for. And the 19-foot Pleasureway Ascent Campervan RV filled all the boxes perfectly, and I have been more than pleased with it since buying it. We spent the first 2 years doing short little travels of 2 weeks to 2 or 3 months to get our feet wet and learn what we needed to change and improve on the RV. With that, over the past 2 years, it's gone through 4 phases of improvements and upgrades so that we can comfortably and easily live off-grid on our journeys. So a lot of you are probably wondering, well, what are you going to offer me? Why should I watch you guys when there's so many other RV travelers with dogs that can tell me things? Well, if you notice, most of those people out there have either Class C's or Class A's or fifth wheelers or trailers, or maybe they have some huge spacious built-out camper van. Well, let me tell you that our little 19-foot camper van makes all those look spacious. So, anything we can do in our little camper van will make your life in a much bigger camper van or Class C or A or whatever you have so much more easier by learning what we've learned and hearing the tips we have to share with you about living and traveling with 2 dogs, if not more. When I got the RV, my idea was to, now that I'm retired, be a semi-nomad. Get out of the Northwest 6 months of gray, drizzly Pacific storms and snow, which are getting worse every year, I've noticed, and just travel. Go down south, find where the sun's hiding out, and enjoy more sun than we ever get up here. Well, that's exactly what we do. And we do it as cheaply or inexpensively or free as possible, but also as comfortably as possible also. Some of the things we enjoy doing when we're out on the road traveling, exploring the country, is we enjoy seeking out ghost towns. Now, my idea of a ghost town is not one that's been so commercialized. It's more like a amusement park. Mine is more on the historic level of ghost towns. Ones that have not been so commercialized they're bordering on phony. And there's plenty of the good ones out there still. It's just that maybe to get to them, you got to go on a 26-mile long dirt road up into the mountains or somewhere. But that's what we do. And we also enjoy seeking out mountainous caverns that we can tour and explore. And we enjoy going to waterfalls, historic places for the Western movement, and natural history places such as possible petroglyphs or buffalo jumps, where the Indians would stampede the buffalo off a cliff and then use their meat and hides for the winter. There's a lot of history, a lot of things out there to see that a lot of people still don't know about. But we never have gone from point A to point B like a lot of people do because of maybe the size of their rigs. And that's why we're so much more nimble and able to go where others can't go. In fact, I know of places in Yellowstone I can take my 19-foot camper van that are specifically denied to anything larger than a van-size RV. So we get to see things that others, unless they're in the car, cannot. So it's just a little something extra that we can add, that we can share with you guys, that maybe these other RVers with dogs can't. Some of the things I hope you'll learn by following us and watching our videos is how to pack in the best possible minimalistic way your RV for any kind of trip. Being a former submariner and a logistics petty officer responsible for every repair part that made my submarine function, from microchips for the weapons system to plumbing for the nuclear reactor, I learned how to pack things in the most weirdest and tightest places possible. And I've taken that knowledge and applied it to how I pack my RV, making use of every space possible I can find in it. So, once again, if I can do something like that in my little rig, it should be easy for you in your larger one. Also, we'll share with you some of our favorite places we like to camp. Like I said, my whole mantra is to camp free or very cheaply, but do it comfortably. And we have found ways to do that by using harvest hosts, national forests, wildlife refuge, DNR locations, BLM lands, Army Corps of Engineer areas, fishing sites where you can put your boats in, and there's some places that allow you to camp overnight. So there's many things out there that you can use when you're RVing for an easy, quick overnight stay. Now, I'm not one to camp in Walmart parking lots or the Cheddar Barrel or whatever that place is called. I'm not a city person, and I prefer to be away from the cities, out in areas away from all the noise, the traffic, the problems. So it's only when I'm between a rock and a hard spot or heading home like a beeline that I am on a highway going through some town or city that I will seek out one of those places for a quick night's rest and then up and get the heck out of there. Being a solo retired traveler with 2 dogs these past 2 years, I've learned quite a bit traveling in my rig, and I've made some creative, out-of-the-box changes to how I use it and how I pack it and the changes I've made to it. Now, some of you might kind of scratch your head at some of the things I've done, but for myself and my girls, it works out great. Of course, I've trained my dogs very well from when they were puppies, and that has the biggest impact possible on traveling with them. They're now 11 years old and are weathered veterans of camping and hiking and RVing, and they just love going on rides and exploring every new place we stop at. Another thing I'd like to add is that when we go through some towns or we're parking out in the national forest or somewhere near a local town or small city, we always seek out their dog parks. And as part of our RVing, we critique the dog parks up to a 4-paw rating. And this has to do whether they're well fenced in, how big they are, organized they are. They have sheds that you could sit under with tables and benches, if they have water available throughout the park for dogs, and how safe they are. So that's another thing that we want to show people that have dogs, that in some locations there are some fantastic dog parks in places you'd never expect, and in other places, well, they gave it a good try, shall we say. Just the same, that's another extra that we throw in on our travels whenever possible. So it really depends on where we're at, where we're going, and the territory we're in, how much we can add to our video on our experiences and our reviews. So this is our invitation to you to join with us, travel with us, and learn with us as my two girls, Katie and Sarah, and I travel through the West, the Southwest, the Midwest, and the Pacific Northwest, exploring natural and historical locations and anything we might come across out of the ordinary, or places that have been long forgotten and now lay in ruin. Possibly things that you saw when you were a child, because today's world is totally different. I have found in my travels that places I saw as a child that were exciting and fantastic, that those people that owned it, kept it up, created it, their children had no interest in it, and they have fallen into ruin and past memories. But if you're lucky enough to experience them as a child, they're still alive in your heart, and there they'll stay. So, thank you for tuning in. We're excited to start our third year here, and we look forward to more journeys. This COVID thing will be gone soon. People will come to their senses. People will start acting civil, and hopefully the world will go back to some resemblance of normal. But as RVers, we have to be careful, we have to be wise, and we have to obey the laws, because if we don't, we'll ruin it not only for ourselves, but for everyone else that wants to live or experience this lifestyle. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Please, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, and do hit the subscribe button. We are trying to grow this channel the best we can, and your input helps a great deal. So, for my two girls and I'll say so long, best wishes, and woof woof. See you later.